Hello, all you lovely peoples. How art thou? Y'all can hear me right. Make sure I ain't freaking out. No, I'm gonna say good night. So, all right, that means we can hear me. All righty. So, fun of tonight, we are going to be talking about color grading, which is always fun. I am Leonardo Newman. I am a film director. I make movies. I got color grading because I wanted my movies to look better. But the my main focus is still making films. So there for sure are probably better colorists than me in the world. But I'm going to teach you guys some fun stuff and try not to make it too technical because, well, it's a very technical field and it's a bunch of information. So let's see what happens. So this is going to be interactive. So, and when I say interactive, I mean like talking on your mic so I can actually hear people. So because I probably can't see, I got a million screens up right now, but between the presentation, the color grading software, and everything else going on, I won't be able to see the chat that much. So let's just dive into it. The importance of finishing. Creating a finished and polished end product is essential. And while most persons have very good and very decently shot footage, a lot of us fail to maximize on proper finishing techniques that allow the product to reach its full potential. Attention to detail is essential. We all know the difference between a rough carpenter and a finished carpenter, I assume. Or the cheap contractor and the expensive one. Yes? Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
And even though both of them are using the same materials, you can typically always see why one person costs more. And it's typically due to their ability to finish, making sure the tiles are straight, making sure the wall paint doesn't touch the baseboards or the crown moldings. And then it's really the little things that separate them, right? And the same thing carries over into film, from direction, the cinematography, production design, a script, and the reason we're all here today, color grading. Or, as I like to say, image processing. Color grading is a subset of image processing. So let's do something. Let's get some myths out the way first, because that should help us get on the same page. How many of you have wished to shoot a project with a Hollywood camera?
Not me.
Ravon says me. Anybody else? No? Okay. Anybody else? All right. Another me. So I gotta ask you guys why. So I need someone to actually answer that. Why? Come on your mic and tell me why. Say it on the microphone, Nick.
Because it's expensive.
Nick says because it's expensive.
Yeah,
all
right.
Specifically the RE cameras, they're expensive. So, but let me ask, where does the look of a film come from?
Just a general question, or to me?
Yeah, that's for everyone.
Okay.
Where does the look of a film come from?
I would Javon to start in your brain.
Tyree, you may answer. I see you got a raised hand.
The cohesive look of a film comes from taking the raw footage and editing it together in the editing room, in my opinion.
Okay, not bad. Anyone else? Well, the good news is, it seems nobody has said that the look of a film comes from the camera. Y'all sure it don't come from the camera? Because nobody said that. Pardon me?
Some might come from the camera.
Okay. In 2023, the camera contributes very little to the look of a project. Some persons switch cameras every year or every 6 months, hoping that it will give them that extra percent that they're looking for, that extra oomph that makes a project look like Hollywood, or as the young people say, makes it look cinematic. The problem is they are looking in the wrong place for that oomph. I'm going to share my screen, guys, and show you all 2 images. All right. Trevon asks, what about this Canon power shot? That is definitely not. Anyway. Oh, Lord. What? That's interesting. Which one is screen tree? This one is screen tree. Anyway, this is share. Yeah, okay, screen tree. All right. So y'all could see that up there, right? Anybody can see an image on the screen?
Now we can.
Yeah, all right. That's good. That's not the image we're supposed to be looking at. So let's change that. This is the image we're looking at. All righty. Who can tell? So I want you guys to look at this image. Does it look nice?
Yes.
I need to find a better way to do this. Anyway, 1 second. All right, sorry about that. So I'm going to show you another image. Does this image look nice?
It's all right.
Yeah.
Okay, someone say yes, someone say it's all right. All right. Now, does this image look nice?
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. So I asked one question.
Most potential.
Out of the 3 images that I showed you guys, does any look better than the next from a objective standpoint to say that the image quality is better?
No.
I didn't like any of them.
But like going through them, does any look like it has better image quality? Like
No.
somehow
All
one
look
was
good.
shot with, yeah, right. So we look at this, that, and we looked at this. So I think most persons could agree that all these look the same. They probably shoot on the same thing or something, right? So this image right here was shot in 2010 on an Arri Alexa, which, as Nick mentioned earlier, is a Hollywood cinema camera. And this image here was shot in 2021 or 22, whenever Dune come out. Let's go with 2020, just for the sake of it. On an Arri Alexa. And 10 years. So there are 10 years in between these 2 images. And we can't look at this and say, oh, one looks better than the next. Our only conclusion is that both look good. Am I right or no? Or y'all let me know.
You're right, dog.
So the question is why? Hollywood has used the same camera for the last 12 years.
Quality.
But us, who's changed camera every year, we still can't get our images to look like that. What are they doing that we aren't?
I'll say the lighting.
No, lighting is a good answer. Anything else?
They still using Ari.
I mean, I would say the lighting and plus like especially with color grading as well.
Okay, look at that. Now we getting something there. All right. The reason they can use the same camera, even though new cameras came out, new high-end cameras came out, the reason they can use the same camera for 10 years is Hollywood has mastered something that most persons haven't, and that is the art of processing images, and that the art of finishing an image. Who has seen an image that looks like this before? Not that, like that.
Me, that's basically raw. It is
Yeah.
raw.
So what do we call that?
Raw.
We call that raw. Another term for it. Anybody else?
That's a log.
A log image. Yes, that's what I wanted to hear. And what do we do when we see images that look like this? What is the first thing we do? Guide me through the process. We can do it together. What is the first thing we do when we see an image that looks like this?
Sometimes people just add a lot over it. You feel me? They
All
don't
right.
color it, they just add a lot, yeah.
That's not used a lot today. Just for the sake, just for this portion right now, let's not use a lot. So what do we do?
Transform it.
How you do that?
Use a color transform.
Oh, that's a strong answer. Anybody else?
I feel like the answer you're looking for is add saturation.
Oh, let's try that. Saturation. Oh, okay. What else we got? We added some saturation. Y'all notice the difference? We went from that to that. We added some saturation. What else needs to happen?
Contrast.
Oh, let's try that. Oh, we add some contrast. Okay. What else we need?
We already started wrong because he ain't transform.
We in transform?
Yeah.
I
so-
feel like you need to go to the top of the class, but let's hold off on your answers for right now, just for a moment. Anything else? What else we doing? For this image right now, from that, I think that's a good before and after. What y'all think? From here to this, what y'all think?
You look better.
She look. What else would you do though?
She said exposure.
Oh, exposure. That's brightness. So let's bring up the brightness. All right, we do that. All right, let's try out a little bit more contrast, just for the sake. All right, we look like we getting something. We liking that?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think we liking that. All right. Now let me ask you a question. Why y'all think we needed to do those things?
Because you shoot it flat.
But when I was shooting, did I see a flat image?
No,
And
no, you didn't.
So what? So because most of you guys have shot something before. When you're shooting, do you see a flat image while filming?
Depends.
All right. Some people might. But most persons, I think I heard a no. I heard a couple of people say no. We don't see a flat image when we shoot. So why is it that when we bring our images into our editing software and we edit, the images look flat? Has anybody sat and ever wondered, oh, well, why it don't look like what it looked like in camera? Has anybody pondered that before?
I have.
Who's that? Who said that? It just say iPhone.
This
Who said-
Nakoya's
Oh, that's where you come from. How you doing?
great. I mean, I'm no
That is
camera
wonderful.
guru or anything, but what I tell people is that cameras only mimic the human eye.
Uh-huh.
So I would say that's why you have to go in and like do some extra stuff afterwards.
Gotcha. So the reason that it's like this is because Nick alluded to it. Nick said we shoot it flat. So we shoot it in log. Log is just a well, y'all didn't see it. Anyway, let's stay there. Log is just a technical mathematical curve that is used to retain as much information that the camera sees. So the camera has a sensor, it gathers the information, and now we need a way to store that information. So we store that information using a log codec. We encode that information in log so that we have all that information when we get into color grading. And so that's why when we come into post, we have this flat image. But I asked the question earlier, I said, but that we don't see this flat image while we're shooting. And that is because you can't make any on-set decisions looking at a flat image. You wouldn't be able to tell if the image is too bright, too dark. You wouldn't be able to tell if you need to reduce a color somewhere, or if a shirt too pink, or etc. So every camera manufacturer has their own version of a transform, as Emmanuel keep mentioning earlier. They have their own version of a transform that takes the image from log into what the display can show, or what looks right on a display, for layman's terms. Try to keep it simple, right? And that's why when we shoot a nice, pretty contrast image, but the problem is most people, when we come into post and we see this flat image, we do exactly what we did here. Anybody know why this could be a problem?
Yeah, every scene can be different.
That's a good point. So what works here might not work. All right, let's go here. Let's turn that off. And all we'll do is copy. So we copied this look onto this image, right? So this image is a... Do we like that?
No.
We don't like that? How come?
Background, the clouds in the back too overexposed for me.
I like, hey, y'all can see. I love y'all people. Y'all can see good. So how you fix that? How do we fix that? How do we make sure those clouds aren't so overexposed?
Turn down the exposure.
Okay, let's see. All right, we turn it down. Oh, well, the clouds are exposed now, but what happened?
We lost information.
We ain't got no, we can't see her no more. All right, let's see what we got. See. All right, now we raise up. All right, what y'all think? Is it a little decent now?
It's all right.
All right.
Nothing. Still can't really see it that much, you know?
Yeah, but let's try this, right?
Saturated.
Let's try something else. Let's go back to log. And let's say, well, when this image, the DP or the cinematographer saw an image on screen. And that's how he judged his exposure. Let's find a way to get this back to that image. What we need is to find which camera it was shot on. And we need to find the camera manufacturer's profile that takes it from log to what our display can show. And that's what we call Rec 709. Who's heard that before?
Me, just use it.
Me?
I used Rec 709 before?
No.
Oh,
I said
okay.
just use it.
Oh, that's
I
good.
hear it from you. Ha.
So this is the Rec 709 profile for this specific camera. And let's just comparison to see what the Rec 709 profile did compared to what we did when we just copied the image. Ooh. What do y'all think? Which one we like more? Can we see the difference to what's happening? Y'all quiet. I can't hear y'all.
Yeah, that background like blown out when you put it there.
Yeah, so we don't like the one with the background blown out, right?
No.
Yeah, but this is the one that we did just now. When we added, so this is what we got when we just added contrast, saturation, and exposure ourselves. This is what happens when we use the proper transform from log to Rec 709, right? Let's see what it looks like here. Sorry about that. So this is what the Rec 709 looks like on this image. And let's just compare it to what we had done earlier. That's what we do. We did that. Okay, which one do we like more? This one or this one?
The Rec 709.
We like this one more. Let's see him. Yeah. See him. Yeah. Let's see him objectively better.
Yeah.
the reason it is better or objectively better is while a lot of YouTubers will tell you to go and add, when you have your log image, you go and add your contrast and saturation to turn it into Rec 709. That's what they'll say, even though it's Rec 709 is actually the display specification. So it's actually a technical transform, a technical process. We don't got to learn the technical process. People don't do that for us. But what it allows us is to use all the data that the camera capture, and now be able to display that, but we still have all that information that we had. All right. So we don't lose anything when we put this Rec 709 profile on. And we see how much better it handles the highlights, because there's a mathematical equation going on from the shadow to the highlights that takes it. It looks like this. I'm going to share this other screen with y'all. New share. Good. Share that. So it looks like this. It's a curve. Who can see that? Y'all can see this, right? So this is what a typical log curve looks like. So it's like, so it raises all that stuff up there. That's why it's so flat. And in order to reverse that, you basically need to do the inverse. And that's what you will hear people say is an S curve. Now, this probably look terrible on an image, but that's just, for visual purposes. Anyways. So it has mastered the process of, I'm going to stop sharing for a bit now. Well, I stop sharing. Oh, stop share. Look at that. All right. So Hollywood has mastered the process of properly processing their images. Now, when I say that, that's with a caveat, because not all of Hollywood did it at the same time. It actually took quite a while. You at the very utmost top of the industry knew what they were doing. Then the lower end, they were still doing foolishness. Here's what happened. In 2007 to 2010, camera manufacturers and Hollywood started shooting movies on digital cameras. They used to shoot on film cameras, but they started shooting on digital cameras. Now, nothing wrong with this. Cameras, could produce nice images. Problem, what happened was manufacturers and the powers that be marketed digital cameras as, oh, now you're free to do anything you want. You can do this. You can make this look, that look. You're not constrained by film anymore, because film was a very rigid process. You could change stuff. You could pull stuff here and there, but you couldn't do as much as you could with the digital, right? But what happened was, it was like an automobile manufacturer giving me a car and giving me all the knobs and dials to change how the engine runs, to change how much fuel is injected, to change, all the different ratios of air compression. And it's like, no, I just want to be able to drive the car. Sometimes options is not good, but alas, people ended up with options, and they were like, all right, let's go crazy. We could do this, we could do that. And then around 2013, 14-ish, all of a sudden people started saying, oh, film is better than digital. Film just looks better. You know why they said this, though? Because they were comparing the digital images that they captured. They were comparing the way that they color graded the image, and they were comparing it to what their movie shot on film used to look like. And it just didn't look as good. And so there became this whole myth in the industry that says film is better. But what the top persons in Hollywood understood was film wasn't better. Not inherently better. Film was around from 18 something. They learned how to process film for over 100 years, creating different looks, figuring this out, figuring that out, figuring all these testing audiences to see what they like more. And 100 years of color science work went into developing film. And when they went to digital, they threw it. And unfortunately, a lot of persons have still thrown it away. And that's why so many people just coming into the field have a actually terrible starting point as it relates to knowledge for how to properly process an image. So that's why we have stuff like adding contrast and saturation instead of using a proper transform, so that we don't blow out our skies for no reason or mess up all kind of other things, right? So let's go back to film and digital. Film was not inherently better. The top of the industry understood, oh, let's just make equivalent processes for digital that we used to do for our film, on film, so that we could get the same looking images. And that's what they do. And then they sold it. And that's how Company 3 became so huge, because their stuff, they were the first people to look like, sorry, Company 3 is a big old post-production house that color grades most of the music videos and movies that you see on TV today. But that's how they became so big, because they were the first to make their images that were shot on digital look almost reminiscent to film. And I say all of that to say, I'm going to show you guys this image, and I want you to tell me if it looks good. Share screen. My Roman log right now, I need some adjustments. I'm sorry. I really should, let's try this again. All right. So, this image. Anyway, everyone can see this image?
Yes.
Okay, good. I was hoping y'all was still there. Does this image look any worse than, say, this image?
Go back again, sir.
Does one of these images just look inherently better than the next one?
I mean, I do like the first one better.
Well, look at that. You like the one shot on film more.
Yeah.
But, so this image was shot on film, and it's a nice and pretty image. How about this image? You like this image?
No, that's the wrong image. No.
Why we don't like this? What's wrong with this image?
Well, that there is nice.
What about this one?
No, that's a no right there.
There's a no. All right.
Yeah.
So this music video actually is a very prime example of what was happening in the early 2010s when they first switched to digital. Everybody remember what a log image looked like? This is what a log image looked like. I don't know. These look familiar. These look similar.
Not at all.
Very, very similar.
Thank you. I like that person who say very, very similar. Both of these images look like look pretty logish. And this was a released music video for Demi Lovato called Skyscraper. This is on Vimeo. I mean, on YouTube, looking just like this. An image that was not finished. Because again, only the top people in the industry understood this. And unfortunately, you had a lot of persons making images that looked like this. And then all of a sudden, people started doing this whole flat image thing and saying, oh, this is what the image is supposed to be. But then they'd watch a movie and be like, it still don't look like the movie, though. What they do it? They understood that the image should not look like this. Let's just add some contrast to this. See, a million times better. But maybe you want a image that looks, maybe you don't want a contrasty image. Well, you could movie like Arrival, where the image isn't contrasty whatsoever, But does this look good to you guys?
Look good to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a finished image,
Yes.
right? But now that we look finished,
Not at all.
yeah. And but this is still low contrast, but it's still, you could see where it still has color, still has dimension, it's finished. And this image right here was just a perfect example of unfinished images. And if they were doing this at the highest levels in 2010, this is where a lot of us at the lower level now are still at. Producing work and then leaving it in this very, very close to unfinished state. So the first thing we need to do to get past this unfinished state is what we mentioned earlier, a proper conversion from log to Rec 709. So let's go here. Oh, I know what happened now. Oh, sorry. My curve was still in full. And now we have a proper conversion. We have an image that was flat. And just like this, does this image look a little bit more finished? Like, let's look at these two. Yeah, sorry. 1 second. This is a lot. All right. Actually, let me make my life easier. Yeah, you do this. Better on. All right, cool. So, would we say that this image looks a little bit more finished than this one? What y'all think? It's up to y'all. Maybe it's too bright. Anyone using words? Nobody's using words, but you know, let's just go with it. So, first step in going from an unfinished image to a finished image is getting to the starting point or getting to where we started, where we shot. And the only way to do that is to use the 709 transform that was loaded by the manufacturer so that you can make proper exposure decisions. And so now we have an image that is at the starting point. So this is what we saw on set. But now we have to finish it, right? Let's just do a quick grade. What do we think should happen with this image? What y'all feeling?
I think we could push the saturation a bit.
All right, let's try that. How much? Right there?
Not too much. I would
Okay.
start there.
All right, cool. What else? What else we thinking? And I'm going to change this so that y'all could actually see the interface. So it's better for y'all. But the image is going to be smaller. What else should we do? Nobody's saying anything. Listen, there's no wrong answers. We started here. So, you know, we didn't here. If we want to print this, we good. Would we feel like we should do anything else? Y'all sound nervous. All right, I could do some do that, and y'all tell me if we like it. Maybe add contrast. All right. I personally probably take away saturation because that's a lot. I'd probably brighten this a little so I could see her. But we don't really want the sky that bright, right? We want that sky a bit lower. So we're gonna do something called a qualifier. We gonna lower this, pick the sky. I probably shouldn't show y'all this, but anyway. Not because I don't want to.
What you mean? You
So
shouldn't
get
show
them
us
little
this way. You're
highlights.
supposed to show us this.
You know, y'all can use this. There's too much power. Only massive y'all. Let me just doing that. But anyway, you do that. Let me add some more contrast. Now we could brighten it some more because we have some detail in our sky again. And then who knows? What else we thinking? We want to warm it up or? Yeah, I look bad. There's all limits look bad, but you know, I rock it with y'all. We like this? All right, we getting somewhere. All right, what y'all think? We going from that to that. We like that more? So this Rec 709. And that's what we did so far. What do we think?
Much better.
You like this? All right. Well, that's good. Would we say that this image is finished? Is it like a polished image?
No, boss.
No,
No.
I mean,
dark.
Can you like bring down the greens a bit?
like make the green darker.
Yeah, on like, but not the trees, but like on the literally
Or
like on,
right there.
yeah.
All right, we could. How do you suggest we do that? What do you wish the software could do in order to do that?
That's a good question. You know.
I can't answer.
Go on, man. You can answer.
Just
He said
use the selection tool and select it
to do what?
and touch the
To
grass.
select the green?
Yeah.
No, we ain't gonna do that.
Okay, then
We could do that, but we won't do that. You know why?
we go up there and choose the color green also and do that. And it'll take all the
Right,
green.
see, that's what you're saying, right? That's what you want us to do. So we select the green, you know, denoise it, whatever. Now we have greens, and we just bring it down. You like that?
No, but then I do all the green. He wanted the ground.
Yeah. You only wanted the ground. So see now, we gotta go mask this out. We gotta say, okay, let's cut around all this other green at the top here. And say, I don't want you to touch this green. I only want you to touch inverse that, sorry about that. Yeah. I only want you to touch the ground. So we like that. So this is what we do with our green. How we feeling?
I don't know. I think it's like too dark now. If you could bring it up just a tiny
Bring it. Right there. Before, after, what you think? Right there?
I think that's fine like that.
Yeah,
All right.
leave it just like that.
Now let me ask you all one question. All of y'all have color graded something before, right?
Not me.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some of y'all, okay, most of y'all added a picture before.
Yes.
You ever added a picture and then tried to take that same edit to a next photo?
Mm-hmm.
Did it work?
No.
Ah. So now let's go to this shot from the CMD, and let's see if we copy it, what happens. Does it work?
No.
I mean, it don't look bad.
It
Well,
don't
it
look bad.
depends.
I agree.
bad.
I
It
agree. It don't
depends.
actually.
It depends.
It don't look bad. It don't
Sometimes
look
you
bad.
luck out. You can luck out.
Yeah, well, all right, let's go to this one. Let's see if we get lucky three times in a row.
Oh, no, no, no.
Hey, look at that.
Yes, yeah.
Look
It
at
look
that.
good still.
All
It still
right.
look good.
All right, let's try this one. Let's see. Oh, y'all
That,
say it.
that
So.
works.
But
That
y'all get
works.
lucky 3 times in a row. I wonder what happens when we play it though. Oh,
Yeah, see, you can't do that because you mask.
yeah.
If you play it, the mask can move.
You have
Because
to drag your mask.
we ain't grading still images. We grading moving images. Another thing that y'all probably can't see on y'all end, because I don't know how big y'all screens is. If y'all watching this on your phone, y'all can't see this. But the grass is literally our selection. Let's go to our selection where they wanted us to, where Emmanuel suggested that we pick the grass so that it gets to make it darker, right? If we go to this selection, y'all see how it looks around those trees? You see how it's moving and shifting? Y'all see that?
Yeah, I can see
Yeah.
it. Mhm.
Yeah, we don't want that in the image because it's actually breaking the image. It doesn't look good. And so while it might have been fine here for this purpose, it does not actually follow when we come here. So make more adjustments and all that stuff. And that ain't actually how you want color grade. Now you could get to some decent images by doing this, but you could be there for a couple of days. You have to fix all your masks, got to fix all your, grass moving up and down, making it brighter, darker. That's a lot of work. And we ain't want to do that. The way we approach color grading and proper processing of images is just like how we apply that Rec. 709 transform over all our images. We try to make decisions that affect all our images positively. And we try to make as few narrow decisions as possible. Because when you make narrow decisions and you got a 5-minute short film that you edit in and you color grade in, you got a 5-minute short film and it's 200 shots, you could be there forever. And we don't want to be there forever because we want the film to release, right? So this is what the big boys do. Anybody ever saw like them YouTube videos say how to get the Joker look?
Oh, he's so fool, right?
Anyone saw that before? How do I get the Joker look?
I've
I know
seen
someone
things
seen
like
that before. Yeah, and then they go in there and they do all these crazy stuff and they do all that and be like, oh, I have the Joker look. You want to know how the actual colorist got the Joker look?
Look at the Joker look.
The actual colorist for the Joker, who color graded the movie, dad is a color scientist. Their father is a color scientist, and he worked at Kodak for years. And she went to her father and said, Daddy, we shooting this movie, The Joker, and we want to look sort of like in the 1980s, like films in the 1980s. Can you that gets us in that ballpark? And the color scientist father developed her a lot that got her into the ballpark. And that was the majority of the Joker look. So all that stuff that y'all see the people on the YouTube doing, that's a lie. Because the Joker is a 2-hour-long movie with 2,500 shots. Ain't nobody got time to do all that stuff that the people on YouTube showing y'all for 2,500 shots. And so daddy, that lot did a lot of the work. Of course, they shot well, they lit well. But that's a side story I thought was interesting. Let's go to my notes, make sure I forget none, because I kind of live all over the place. I ain't gonna lie to you. Wow. All right, look at that. Cover a lot.
So I was in a meeting just now, so I missed some of this. So you really taught from going from log to where somebody needed to start and then start going crazy?
So yeah, that's what we did. We went
Okay.
from log to Rec. 709, and then I said, okay, we had Rec. 709 now, but this is just what we saw in camera. So how do we make this better? And so then we did that.
Okay.
Now, I actually disagree. I actually think the Rec. 709 look better in this case, but they say this one look better. I know.
Yeah, we ain't one with you. This one look better.
My own with that one.
Well, you could see better too. So what we see in what you see.
No, y'all see it. Y'all see it. Let me put it back on the big screen too.
That's an unfair advantage too. We looking at an iPad and phone and all that stuff. We definitely can't see what you see.
Back on the big screen for y'all, so that's filling up your whole screen. So we went from this Rec. 709, and we did that. I don't know. I really like it that much.
But the thing is, too, I know you ain't done, but you still, I know you will teach on the beauty of just being an artist, right? Because everyone have their own taste. What if I want to do a purple sky and make this whole place look like Eminem rap video, blue and purple hills? What if I just want to do that?
You could.
I mean, you could
just don't do it in a way that breaks your image, because then it can look bad. And we actually,
we have
a lot of
I know for a fact.
I'm glad you bring that up. Let's do this, right? We
I
have a
know.
lot of
I
persons
know.
that do this to their videos. Y'all tell me if y'all saw this before. Pick the sky, and we say, I want a purple sky. Y'all see that before? How much y'all see this before? Oh, sorry, in a video. Yes, Nate?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they do that, and then all the other, look at the soda can. If you look at the soda can, you see all the pixels is dancing in there because people just grab this hue selector down here. Let me go back to this one. People just grab this hue selector and say, they pick the sky and say, okay, let's make it purple. Let's have some fun. And then they say, forget the soda can. We don't care about it. And now the soda can is all dancing and all kinds of stuff. So if you ever look at music videos that have like those really funky colors, like not the ones done by professionals, but like the ones like you might see in the Bahamas where they do like these crazy looks, look at it and you'll notice bad image processing, which leads to a bad finished product. Now, there are obviously ways that you could do this look in a cleaner manner. How would I do that for y'all in the quickest way possible? Yeah, so look at that. Now we have a purple sky if y'all want purple skies. And I'll save this so that we can compare it. We have that. Let's delete that. Set that. And let's do again what we did where we just picked this guy and did that foolishness. Which one we like more? Let me rephrase. Which one has less breakage in the image? Y'all can't see this.
The first one.
But this one?
Yeah, last breakers, but we still have that little purple hue on the actors.
Yeah. Whereas this one, you got all kind of breakage.
Right.
So that's the issue. Anytime you doing these crazy looks, like you could do your crazy look, you do whatever you want, but you always want to try to do it in the broadest way possible. If y'all notice, I used what y'all seeing right now? Y'all seeing the whole interface, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. If you notice,
Yeah.
I use the color wheels down here to create that because the color wheels are broad tools that won't break. And guess what? I could actually take this over to this and it won't break the image. It'll look exactly like it looked here, like one consistent look all across the board, right? Because the color, so anytime you're going to do a crazy look like that, you have to make sure that you're not doing something so specific like this, because you will literally, sorry, not that. Why this? Because you need to use my mouse. All right, I have a panel, but I need to use the mouse so y'all can actually see what I'm doing. Because I just realized if I just move it with the panel, y'all can't actually, y'all don't actually see what I'm touching. Yeah, where purple is. Anyway, yeah, if you do that, you take that from, put this image on that. You know, you got all this breakage. You got this line between the fingers and the blue, and all that it just look nasty. We ain't want that. So, food for thought if y'all ever gonna do it. Look at this shirt. It's just look nasty. Food for thought if y'all ever gonna do like that crazy look that Marty suggested. Let's get off this purple now. So let's finish. I'm not gonna create these because that could take too long, but I will show y'all what these look like finished, right? And then we could try to figure out what I did, how I got there. Y'all wanna do that? Let's do that.
Yep.
Let's delete this. Rec 709. Let's go to this image. All right, so this is Rec 709. But this is what this image looks like finished. Which one we like more?
I
Oh,
finished.
sorry. Let me make it bigger for y'all. Forget y'all on the small screen. All right, big screen. Sorry about that. All right. So which one we like more? This one or this one?
I like that one.
I prefer that one with the less orange skin tones.
What?
That's the one I like.
All right. So you still like Rec 709? That's beautiful. Is
I like
everyone?
that.
What'd you say, Nick? Sorry, Nick say something, but he cut out, so I didn't hear. Oh, someone said something, but they cut out, so I didn't hear them. In any event, so this was the finish. This was the finished shot, right? Then let's go to this shot as well and see the finished shot for this one. Right, find it. I didn't get it, yeah. Maybe I throw it away. In any event, I throw it away. But here's a graded shot for this one. What do we think? You like that? Turn this off. All right. Purple. All right. So this is Rack 709, and this is the shot graded. How we feel about that?
I like to grade it because it separates everything. I like any image that's have separation. The Rec 709 just have almost like a purple tint on the whole image.
Mm-hmm.
But the finished product, you could see the on the right hand side. I know that's my right or your right.
Mm-hmm.
The right hand side, you could see the blues in the sky, and you could see the highlights on the left hand side with the clouds still having
See
detail.
the clouds with the detail.
Right.
Right. Yeah,
And then you could see some blue in her shirts. I don't know if it's my iPad, but her blues and her shirt have a little bit discrepancy there. But I don't know what is that. But I could see more separation.
that, my friend, is what you call noise. Because
but I like this one more. It have
That is
more
wonderful.
separation.
That is wonderful. All right, let's see how we got to that. Because this is actually in the project. Ooh. All right. Now y'all get a little bit sneak peek under the hood. So this is Rec 709. This is all the stuff that I did. But it doesn't look the same. Why? Any answer? Nope. All right. Remember
What you ask?
I was saying this look right here, this image what we're seeing right here has all the adjustments that I use to make the image look like this, but it doesn't look like it. Who can give me a random guess as to why?
But
Y'all probably won't get that.
what was the foundation of the first one? Did you really put a lot on it?
That is a wonderful question. What was the foundation? What was the starting point?
Yeah.
Right now, we have a different starting point, and that's why all them adjustments that I made didn't give us the same look, right? We are missing something. We are missing a LUT. Who's heard about a LUT before? I know I talk about it just now, but who's heard about a LUT before?
Me.
Someone else besides the owner of Frame Studios, please.
And trying to help everybody so quiet.
I put my hand up as well.
Oh yeah.
I can't see hands. I need your
Okay.
I like y'all just talk because I can't actually see the interface.
Understood. I put my hand up.
Yeah. So what happened was I was using a LUT, and the LUT was not there anymore. Well, now it's there. And so now, let me look at the before now. All right, now we have the same stuff. We have the same image again. All right. Should I break that down? There's a lot of things. Anyway. I won't break that down because that's a lot of technical mumbo jumbo that y'all that might confuse me and y'all at the same time. And I don't want to leave y'all a little bit more confused. So let's just recap where we are so far. Somebody tell me what y'all learned so far. Brianna, go. You on the call. Brianna. All right, Samuel. Give us a rundown about what we learned so far.
Hey, we learned about logs and how they are not essentially colored, even though that doesn't make any sense. But then you have to transform it
Yeah, I like
using
that
the
word.
709. And
Good.
after that, then you could start like playing around because that's the true color of the image.
Yes.
And
That's
then
all.
LUTs are like fancy things that make things fancy. The end.
Let's go with that. There are a lot of bad LUTs on the internet though, so y'all know. Don't download no LUT off the internet. Yeah, you don't need to mess up your footage, so don't do that to yourself. So that was a nice little recap. So we learned that part of proper image processing is knowing that what you're seeing when you get in post, which is that log image, is not meant to be shown. It is not meant for you to add contrast and saturation from that point to try to make it look like what you saw on set. It is only meant to capture data. And you should use a transformation to take you from that log to what your computer screen is meant to show, which is called a Rec 709 transform. Each camera manufacturer has its own log profile, and so they have their own Rec 709 transform. Ari has its own Rec 709 transform, and Nick, who wanted to shoot on Ari, a lot of people believe Ari is the best camera ever. It's not true. All cameras, and every single camera, all it does is collect data. What someone does with that data is what gives the image a look. And so what Ari was able to do was create the best looking Rec 709 transform out of the box. And so people are falling in love with their Rec 709 transform and have deduced that Ari must just have a better image. That is a lie. It is not the truth, because guess what? You can take the Ari Rec 709 transform and put it on your camera. It'll look just like the Alexa. Anybody ever heard that before? Yeah, of course you had it. You was talking to me too much.
Can I use this in iMovie? Okay.
No.
Just curious, you know. So I need a different key resolve. You know what I'm saying? Just.
No. You can use it in Premiere Pro. You can use it in Final Cut. iMovie, I do not know if iMovie supports.
iMovie right over.
Hey, behave. Thank you.
All right. So who wants to have some fun? Who wants to create a scene? Let's actually create a scene. Let's take what we learned so far. I won't go much further. Y'all can ask questions though while we create it, and I'll answer all the questions y'all have. So please, I won't go much further in like going into more advanced scenes, only because I think the biggest lesson that you could learn from image processing is getting the right starting point, which is forming from log properly. When you have the right starting point, you can get to a better finish. A lot of persons do not have a good starting point, And so they end up like with that image that we saw earlier, where the sky is all blown out, right? And you will actually notice that in a lot of work. Sometimes it might happen because they just overexpose, but a lot of times it happens because when they get the image in post, they add some contrast and saturation to try to make it look like what it looked like in camera on set. But because Resolve and every color grading software is not equipped to do that the way you need to, it messes up the image. And so you need what we call proper color management, which is properly taking it from log to, I will just say Rec 709 for now. It can go to other things because there are more than one displays, but most displays are Rec 709, so I will only say Rec 709, just to not confuse you. Oh, but here's an interesting little thing, because I did talk about image processing and how people took film and thought film was so good, and they were like, oh, you could never make digital look like film and all that stuff. So people just thought their images needed to be shot on film in order to get this film look. And it was a lie. And here is an image, and y'all can tell me if y'all like it or not. Oh, sorry. Wrong starting point. You got the wrong starting point. Just messed stuff up. All right. What y'all think? Do they look similar?
I prefer the image on the right. It
Yeah, the
has
image on the right looks better. I'm asking, do the images look similar? Do they look like they're in the same world? Or could possibly be in the same world? Y'all could say no, it don't matter.
Yes.
Oh, so I'm gonna say, yeah, look at that. All right. So it looks like it's in the same world. That is a wonderful thing. This is what it looked like before. So after all,
I like that
nice
too,
work.
though.
Yeah, no, this looks nice. This is what it was shot as. I was just showing that the point is only to show that the thing when people thought that, oh, you could only do these things with film, it was a lie. What happened was people just weren't processing images properly. That's why you had the Demi Lovato video going on with those flat images. And now most persons in Hollywood understand how to process images properly, but now it's just starting to trickle down to people like us on the low levels, low budget. But a lot of persons still don't know this. And this is where you can separate your work from a lot of other person's work if you want to, and get a little bit closer to that magic Hollywood sauce that everyone wants, right? That is image processing. Anybody wants to see how I did that? How we went from this to that?
I'd like to see your workflow.
Okay. So let's turn that off. I will show y'all the name. All right. So this was our starting point. You come out here. This is our Rec 709. This is our Rec 709. This is a LUT. Let's turn that off. This is a LUT that I made. It's not bought off the internet, but yeah. All right. And then we come here and we say, trying to get in the rough ballpark. And it really is just a give and take, because I did this in like 10 minutes before the stream started. And then we said, all right, it still doesn't look like it. Still doesn't look like it. Let's try. Let's try do that. We open up the shadows a little bit. You can see the difference. A little bit more crunchy on right here. In this one, you can see a little bit more detail in the shadows. If you look at the chair, then he add a little bit more contrast back, because again, this is a give and take. We went here to put more focus on our character. So this is what we call a window. Right? So we draw this thing around her. It's called a power window. Sort of, it's the same thing as a mask, but it's not so specific because it's very broad. And as you can see, it just makes stuff around her darker while keeping her the same. And then we just raise up the whole scene. Right. Just went brighter here. And then we went here to try to shift some of the orange color into more of this beigeish color that they had going on. This one didn't do too much, but just a little bit. We did this little thing to open up the highlights just a little bit. And then we did a little desaturation in our hues. Oh, we didn't do that. Yeah, in our hues to make our lamps a little bit match a little bit better with these. So this is where we actually picked. So we picked right there on the thing, and then we pulled it down. And I just was pushing buttons after a while, just trying to get it to, be close. Yeah. So then we went from that to that. All right. And end it here. And that is how we got from this to that to try to get into this No Country for Old Men world.
Seeing it from the beginning give more of appreciation of it trying to fit itself into the world of that perspective which you have on the right. Now, if we just see it like that, you wouldn't appreciate it too much, right? From and trying to pull that into the world, that's.
Now, guess what? They did not do any of that when they color graded that image. You know why? Because those actually that color, they lit him like that. Not have to do all that stuff I did. I was just trying to force an image into a world just to show that you could do it. It's not ideal, but you can, right? And just showing that if you know how to manipulate the image, you can actually get it to look very similar to film if you or whatever. But for the creme de the fun part of today, this is a sequence from my upcoming feature film. And we're gonna do a little fun grade on it. But y'all wanna do that? It's gonna freeze a little bit because it's a computer. And it's 8K footage. Y'all wanna do a fun grade on it? Dive into how I would approach it.
Yeah, let's go.
All right. So first things first, we have a top level look. So a part of that, the top level, for one, the Rec 709 transform. So just imagine this as layers, right? Anybody use an adjustment layer in Premiere before?
I have, yes.
Yeah. So imagine this as layers. When I say top level, so this adjustment layer is like on track 9. So this is at the top of everything, right? So that's where we have our X7 transform. You have a lot made specifically for this film to get the look, to get me in the ballpark of the look that I want to be in. We have a little thing right here. This just softens highlights so that it's not too harsh, so that like when the light is shining on someone's face really hard, it just rolls it off so it's not too hard and crunchy. This is a curve that we did just to increase our contrast in a way. It's a subtle, it's not large. Let's see it. Y'all seeing the whole interface?
Yes.
Okay, cool. And then this right here is film green. Sometimes we put green on it to make it look like film, make us feel better about ourselves. I don't know. Sometimes I use it, sometimes I do. I'm using it for this. That's what I envisioned when I first made the film. So Didn't seem like I should change that. 1 second. These images are.
I'm glad you said that's what you envision, because I waiting for the when we could ask question, but
Ask questions. We're gonna go grade right now, so ask questions. This is the fun part.
I only have one question.
Mm-hmm.
What determined finish?
Ah, that is a wonderful question. Let's scroll through some images and find out. Because what determines finished is what we used to see it, right? We all used to seeing it. We know when something looks polished, looks like, oh, it's been through, like, oh man, they edit that. That looked good, right? We know what it is. It's not a line, but it is a bar, basically. So let's go through. Say that this image is finished.
Yes.
It looks polished.
It
How about this?
depends.
How about this image?
Still depends
Yes.
Depends on what.
what the artist consider vision.
Right,
Not
that's a good point.
finish, but their vision. You know what I mean? Because what if I want everything to look unsaturated, and then you say, "Oh, you need to put saturation in it,"
Mhm.
but
Well,
that ain't what I was going for. So
well,
what
that's what we
is finished?
mentioned. So that's what we mentioned with the Demi Lovato video, right? If we come here, you can easily say, "Oh, we wanted this look," right? But you know how we know they lied? They'd be lying.
Mm.
Is because when you look at, I turn these stuff off. This look exactly like this. It's an image. They had a log image. They added like 2 inches of contrast and they just let it go because they thought that's what it's supposed to be. When we look at a rival, which actually has the same kind of feel that you're talking about, which is low contrast, it don't have to be crunchy. It don't need to be super bright. When we look at a rival, we look at it. You see the difference between that and something like the skyscraper shot?
Well,
Hey, we can,
I hear you.
you can desire, yes, you can make it look like the skyscraper shot if you want to, but that wouldn't, for what we look at when we look at images and the images that catch our eye, it wouldn't fall into that category.
Well, some wrong.
Okay. I know you're right.
No, okay, like I'm being serious, right? Okay. Let's look at it like this, right? And trust me, I understand what you're saying. I just want to get into the conclusion of what is finished, because you know, because what if I really sincerely want my image to look like this, like no flaw, not that I'm ignorant to something. What would you tell someone? Let's just say use a professional in the field. You would say, okay, I could still give you the finished product you're looking for, but let's do it this way. So in reality, what is finish?
I would ask, finish is, well, let me not use that definition, but I would ask the client, if somebody came to me and said, hey, I want you to color grade this, I want it to look flat, I wanted to, I would ask them, what you mean when you say flat? Or like, do you mean like you don't want it to be like super crunchy in contrast? You want it to be desaturated. Okay, we can do that. What else? What else you thinking? Okay, you want that? All right, gotcha. You want, so they say they want a desaturated image with not a lot of contrast. You know, you can see all the detail in the shadows.
All right.
All right. Let's just go to an image and do that. Notice this still underneath all of our Rec 709 stuff. Right?
Yeah.
We ain't gonna do this from log. It's just right from with all the stuff we had applied. To find a better shot. All right. So they say first thing I would do is this image a little orange. So I just balance it out, you know, better. Yeah. Something like that. And they say they want that, bring down this exposure a little bit, because what they basically telling me is they want a really compressed image. A really compressed image is one that isn't so contrasty, it's very open, right? So we're just doing give a pull right now of gamma and gains, or highlight and midtones. That's all we're doing right now. Keeping the midtones bright and bringing down the highlights. And it's just a push and pull, right? And now we can raise up our shadows, and then maybe we bring the whole thing down. Right? They say they might want desaturation, right? So we desaturated. I would then ask, okay, in our desaturation, do you want the whole thing desaturated, or do you just want certain colors desaturated? Do you want do you want this orange to be desaturated, or do you want your skin to be desaturated? And they might say, let's see what the whole thing is desaturated. And what about your sky? Do you want it to have a little bit more blue in it? You want it darker? Yeah, let's get some blue in the sky, but I still want it to feel a little bit more desaturated. Okay. So we at this point now. So we desaturate the whole image. And here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna, because we do, this a very creative look that we're doing, right? We're gonna select our sky. When I say sky, we actually really we selecting the brightest parts of the image. Doing this never breaks your image, by the way. Even though this is a part of the qualifier, this will never break your image because you're only selecting the brightness channel. Problem comes in when you select brightness, saturation, and the hue. That's when you start breaking stuff. All right. So I'd say, okay, you like that? We like that. So what you think, Emmanuel? Since you was the client, does this image feel like what you was looking for? What you want? I could hear someone phone in the background. I don't know what's happening.
Problem.
All right. So
So if I say
what you wanted?
if I say yes, this is exactly what I wanted. This is exactly you got it perfect.
If this what you say you want, then we finish. Right? Then that means we'd be finished. But you want to see the difference between this and log? That's log and that's finished. We have color separation still. We still have the feel that you wanted. You could see all the detail that you wanted to see. You could see all the detail in the shadows. See all the stuff that you wanted. But we have color separation. Like, this is what finish is for the best definition. Finish.
Okay, so I like how you
deliberate
saying
decision makes. When it can be seen, when you can stare at an image and say they deliberately did this, and not oh, they make a mistake. So I can stare at the skyscraper image and see they literally made a mistake. Guess what? I even had, and this ain't even my opinion.
Yeah, you know, you know this the fact. They just didn't know.
I've spoken with the guy who's the head color scientist of Red Digital Cinema. So you guys have heard about Red cameras? I speak with him on Facebook from time to time randomly. Anyway, he's a mathematician and a nerd, and very fun to talk to actually. But I remember talking to him because I was watching these old music videos back in the day, and you just see the trend of all these flat images. And I said, this part of time, during this time, it must have been driving you crazy with all the flat images, huh? He was like, indeed it did. they spent so much time trying to tell the cinematographers and the producers that, hey, that's not what the image is supposed to look like. You're not processing the image properly. And it took years until, people got to the point where they started to understand. So, and this music video was the start of that trend. Was part of the start of that trend. So finished is when you can see that someone made a deliberate decision to make an image look the way it looks. Versus it was a log image in post, and they added some contrast and saturation and said, all right, we good. Because you know what happens? You know how easy it is? Like, I can't tell you if one image is finished versus the next, right?
Right.
But I can tell you if we look at a sequence of images, because we're talking about moving images, the scene, when I can see that there's a difference between that shot that came right afterward in sequence, then you know that, oh, that wasn't a deliberate decision. We mess up, basically.
Yeah, like the Starbucks cup on Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I trust me, I already knew the answer. I try to get you to say for the people in the back also. But so what I get from this, honestly, what I got from it is, if I had to explain it based on if I had to explain it all over to somebody else based on how you explain this, is that color grading has a basic fundamental starting point that you have to obey before you finish the image.
Yes.
So if you want, if you learn that,
there's an objectively better starting point. Like, people could do what they want because it's still art, right? You could still do whatever you want, but the persons who might be judging your work and wondering if I can hire you to do something, they know what they're looking for, and they have an eye to see. Or guess what happens? It may look good to you, but when someone looking to hire someone to do a commercial for their business, and they've been looking online at other commercials, and they say, I want this to look like the State Farm commercial, and you give them something, they could be able to tell these don't look the same, right? And so, and part of literally at the rudimentary level, a lot of it is where you start. How you start is how you finish, and that goes from onset decisions, production design, lighting, and how you end it. Because guess what? You could make a very pretty image in camera, and if someone processes it badly, you could have a very ugly end product. Or you can make an ugly image in camera, but if somebody processes it well, it can become an actually decent looking image. And so the finished carpenter is good because when he started, he was doing good work, and he carried it all the way to the end product. Whereas, and the same with images, any images that you make it, you took a good image, and you took that, and you did good things along the way as you took that to the end image, and you have an end image that represents what you were aiming for to begin with. Anybody have any other questions? Oh, and by the way, if y'all just want to see this, they looked at Manny desired. This was his look that he desired. And if you look at the boom boom. We carry that cross. We were able to carry that look across to the whole thing. Only because, well, I didn't put it there, but because all the decisions we made were broad decisions. Nothing was very specific. Nothing was trying to change things, trying to change a hue or whatever. We did very broad decisions. And you can look at this. Now, I don't say much look bad to me, but if that's what I want, I good. We all happy. And nobody can look at this and say they didn't make a deliberate decision to make this image look like this. Now, you could decide if you like it or not, but it's finished because what they did to achieve it was deliberate. All right. Any questions? Don't be afraid to ask like a random question, because yeah.
I'll ask a question. I noticed that you grade in DaVinci. Have you ever graded in other NLEs? And if so, what about DaVinci specifically do you prefer?
Premiere sucks. I've never used Final Cut in my life, but I've seen Trevor use it, and it sucks. I have tried to use Baselight, another color grading software, but there isn't really. Baselight is actually very expensive, and it doesn't really work on with Windows well. You have to actually use it through another software, and it just doesn't make any sense. So DaVinci really is the only option, the best option. It is the best option, but it's also the only option to do real color grading work. On a Windows computer and on most computers, because guess what? Dune was color graded with DaVinci Resolve. Superman, all the Spider-Man movies, all the Marvel movies, all the latest movies, most of the latest movies that you watch, all of them, most of them are color graded in Resolve. And so it just seemed to make sense as well, right? And then there are also things that you can do in Resolve that you cannot do inside Premiere. Like, I could give you a decent look with Premiere, but that's because understanding how the processes work. But I could never trying to get this look in Premiere. It's like, I'm going to actually show you all this. Trying to get this in Premiere is a nightmare. We got masking going on. You got a power window going on here. That tracked. I don't know the tracked, but anyway, we got a little thing going on over here to darken this corner. We have that's all the track. That's all the specific stuff. But then obviously you have all this scene, all these different adjustments y'all see in here. All these would have to be different adjustment layers in Premiere. So you would end up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different adjustment layers just for one shot. It just Premiere isn't set up well for proper color grading and image manipulation. Anything else? Nope. Not quiet. I could take that as a no. Well,
Oh, bro, I got.
who thinks? What do you think is the problem with this?
You're orange.
Get orange. All right. So this is the last thing I can show you. This call is going to be done. Maybe we could stay on and talk with this all night. I don't mind, but yeah. And maybe I could get into some nitty-gritty stuff there, but I was trying not to get too. It's actually very hard because it's trying not to get too technical, because it is, but it is a very technical feel. And it's like, oh man, not knowing how deep to go to not confuse, but not, and don't want to leave people confused. But here's what the takeaway. It is better for you to just put the right Rec 709 transform onto your footage and leave it like that than to go playing around with stuff and messing it up. You might make it worse. So if you're scared, just put the transform on and you will actually have a very decent look. All right? Just whatever you do, don't go and go from with all the log images and add contrast and saturation yourself. You can hurt your image. All right? Do you like that? That sounds like a good idea. All right. I can just go with you. All right. So we say this 2 orange. All right. So anytime I go to actually grading, the first time, the one thing I'm trying to do is, for one, trying to make broad decisions, because as we can see, this is what y'all seeing. Y'all seeing the whole interface? Or just the screen?
The interface.
Okay. So what I'm trying to do, I'm always trying to make broad decisions because this is 6 images and I got a movie that got over 1,000. And so if I spend one day a bunch of specific stuff on one image, I could be there forever. And so we look at, I try to find a scene look first. So what you see right here, this is labeled scene, right? So this is my scene look. This is the first thing I always touch, right? And for this scene, she's waking up in the morning. She's rushing out of her house. Her roommate is banging on the door. We have some light coming through the window, so maybe I want to get some color in that. But I'm always focused on what my character looks like because they are the main subject, and so making sure that their skin looks right. And so we went from that to that, a ton of color separation, right? We could see that the dress is actually purple. We could see a shirt is white. We could see the lamp on the wall, right? So here's what I'll tell you though. If this what the DP wanted, leave it alone. Because you'll see a lot of persons say, first balance your image. That ain't necessarily true. You only balance in the image if something was wrong with it. If nothing was wrong with it, then you just go into grading it. Because they might have intentionally shot the image very orange on set. And if the first thing you go in there and do is say, let me balance this and try to make the white look white, you might just be messing up the creative the person's wanted. All right? So that is also an important thing to note. So first thing I do is always try to get as much color saturation as possible. Add some contrast. The one thing I think about this image is that I would like to see a little bit more detail on the closet behind her. So like what we're seeing, I'd like to see a little bit more color in that lamp. Like I want almost this feel, but I don't want her to be that. That makes. So you have to do push and pull, right? So I brought down the brightness. Now I just bringing up everything else all together. All right, brought down brightness again. Now bringing up everything else. Add some contrast. See where we at. All right, let's try to bring up our midtones just a little bit, and then lower our highlights. Right. Let's keep this going like that. All right. So we went from that to that. Okay. You like that? Maybe we want some more color in our skin. Maybe we want that wall to be. So now we shifting the colors in the different ranges of highlight, shadows, and midtones. So the midtones, so if you look at a scale, it's from 0 to 1 is from dark to bright. And so the midtones is just in the middle. And that's typically where skin is, it's in the middle, right? So depending on where you light it, but that's typically where skin is set when the person's exposed. So, yeah. Right. I just shifting the hue in the highlights to a cool and shifting some warmth in my skin. That's also affecting the lamp a little bit. All right, and then that. And let's shadows, cool off our shadows just a little bit. All right, cool. And so we went from that to that. Do we like that more?
That's a big difference, but wow.
So I would then, with this as my base now, I would trickle that down and apply that to all the different other shots in the sequence to make sure that carries through properly. So now we have a bunch of different shots that were shot differently at different times. But look at that. Does that look consistent? That looks consistent, right? Looks like we in the same scene, in the same room. And cut. And then we cut to that. All right. So that's how I started. So that's where we would start for this scene. So that's the scene approach, right? Next thing I would do is I actually still think the scene needs a little bit more contrast. I'll do that. But what I'm thinking is, when we need to raise up just the lowest shadows, and in Resolve, you can go from what we call here the primary color wheels down here to the log wheels, right? And this allows a little bit tighter control to mess up a little bit, and being able to control them a little bit more fine tuning on them. So, yeah. And just to wrap up today, because we got to go, I would just do this. This is what we call a power window again. And I would bring that around her. Bring everything else around her down so that she becomes the focus, right? So this is just like lighting. This is almost like putting a big old light on her and then stopping it from going anywhere else. And then I would raise everything back up. So now you can't actually see that there's a power window doing a bunch of stuff, but it is. And then I add some contrast. I might add a little bit of saturation to the image. And we went from that to that. What do we think about that?
Now you're showing your skills.
Solid.
So, and I would do so much other random other little things. Again, like y'all, what this actual looks like in the trailer, so that y'all see what I actually did in the final in the trailer. It's going on, but media offline. Everything cool.
Now you showing your skills. Boss, my last question is charge, man. I got something I gotta show you away, man.
I actually did cheaper when it comes to color grading.
That's good.
I was only charge $400 for a commercial.
That's it? That's true?
Yeah, because I honestly, it's only because it's because I know that a lot of people ain't gonna spend the time to try to learn this. But I also know that it's really the difference between your project being so much better than what it is.
That's
than
good.
what it ends up being.
Thanks for telling me that.
So I don't charge a ton for a simple commercial. But like I can't, unfortunately, before and after showing up, I would do some random stuff too here just because I was bored. We have like this little light hitting the bed, and I would just probably accentuate that a little bit. Raise up that part, right? Contrast that part, feather it out so that nobody thinks that you actually did something there. And just have some contrast there. And maybe shift and do something interesting like that or something. And it just adds another dimension. It's just like play with light, basically. All right. Just add another little dimension to the image. I would come over here. What I actually did, again, we talking broad. I went for the highlights again. I like to play around with the highlights, but not the highlights of the lamp, but the highlights of these little patterns on the wall. I wanted them to be, I wanted to shift the color of them a little. So, let's try to focus on them. And what I did was made them a little bit bluer, right? Just to add a little bit more color saturation to the scene. But we don't want it to affect the lamp. So all we do is draw a little mask that says, yeah, you can affect all this other stuff, except that lamp. And boom. And we feather that out. Like this don't have to track because it's such a broad little thing that most person, there's like certain things like don't even have to track. And like this would carry over as much as I wanted to. All right. So let's do a little copy and paste and see what happens, right? Like this bad thing. Cool. we track this. We just make sure it doesn't move with the camera. Now all of a sudden you got a bed. I would leave this mask right here, so that it just looks like this. I wouldn't track it so it doesn't, so that it doesn't move. Keep that right there. Keep everything else around her down and all that good stuff. And then again, we have our blue shifted. We have our thing shifted to blue just a little bit, nothing too much, nothing too crazy. And probably with this, I've actually never graded this image before. But, you know, I'm about to go into calibrating on the film. I would just bring out all the highlights in the shot just because it's a bit high. So like that. A little bit of that blue. Okay. Yeah, and just take a little bit of the blue out, and now we have two shots that look like they're in the same world. And voila, and we started here, ended here, created whatever look like. I mean, this is my movie, so I could do whatever I want in terms of if I want this bright or dark. So I don't have no one to answer to. I could open it up if I wanted to, but I don't really know. And again, easy to do the same thing here. Yes, most of the stuff will carry. Got that. I would just make this one just a little bit brighter. It'll be coming out the bottom a little bit. And then cool this a bit. Yeah. Down a bit. Now we have a deliberate look that and it's something. So y'all got a little bit peek behind the curtains. And I am done. You guys can reach me, or if y'all ever wanted to talk more about this stuff. I'm always free to open and talk about this, and you can actually get a lot more information. So Leo Newman Films on Instagram, or my number is 807-7210, 807-7210. If you just have random questions about color grading, I could talk about this stuff all day. And so, yeah.
I can call you right now, boy.
I don't know why these off. But this is some random grades from my feature from the trailers for the movie. While I'll try this off, y'all can stare at some pretty images, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, so this is a shot from the movie. I don't know, some of these are offline. I don't know what's going on about it. But that's from there. That works. That's there. Oh, look at that. I like that. That's that. I can see these, right? That one offline. I don't know why some of them offline, but blame the computers. Computers is too strange things. No, that's a shot. So yeah. So and we look at that, and oh man. Anyway. Anyone ever watch Cruella? Cruella,
I've seen them.
like one of the most beautiful looking movies I've ever seen in my life. And so it's actually inspired the color grading for my feature film. I wish I could show this shot wasn't offline so you could see it, but unfortunately it doesn't want y'all to be great. And so it won't allow me to show y'all. It's not allowing me to show y'all that, so that y'all can see some of the inspiration of that I had when I was color grading. I will try. So it works. Okay, look, we could see something. So we look at that shot and Ron, you can take over anytime you feel like. I just ramble. Look at this shot. And this one from Cruella. You can see what my influence was. Look at these two. Had a little bit of influence from this bad boy. So, yeah. Unfortunately, my actor's not white, so she doesn't get to have gray skin. So there are things that you don't try to match because if it doesn't make sense for your Black people, then it does not make sense. But a good way to learn color grading is actually taking some images from movies that you love and try to make your images look. That's a good way to practice to see how far images actually go, what a image might look like when it starts and what it looks like when it's finished, and then you'll have a much better idea of what a finished image looks like. And I am done. Oh, look at that. Not terrible. Not terrible. Too blue. Come on, talk with. Who Trevon is anyway? He here. Trevon, please come in the meeting.
Sleeping it.
Anyway, anybody have any questions while we wait on Trevon to end the meeting? Thank you all for coming and all y'all sets that stayed around to the end. I know this could probably become very boring. Trevon, Patton.
Hey, Leo, can you hear me?
I can hear Travolta. What's up, Travolta?
When is the movie being released?
The movie is releasing. That's a great question. I have no idea. It'll be finished before the year's out, though. In terms of the release schedule, going into some festivals, stuff like that. So we'll see.
And that's Alea, the actress?
Ah, yes, the one that you casted for Carrie's Choice.
Correct. Looks very nice, man. I mean, I've told you a number of times how much I appreciate your coloring and your color grading. So I really, really enjoyed it. I'm sorry I caught the last bit, but I'll watch the whole thing later.
All righty. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Again, I remind y'all that I am a director and cinematographer first. Because I realize a lot of persons think that I only color. So that is a clarification that I should probably make.